Gfan 84. The time has come for the review. Godzilla x Kong, the new empire. Did the hype meet the measurements of the movie? Is it better than Godzilla -1? You'll have to stay tuned. Without further ado, let's get right into this. Godzilla x Kong, the new empire. Now, before we get into the review of this movie, now, my movie theater, which I went to go see at AMC, the 3D version, they only had a select few things left. My movie theater already barely gets anything. It's crap. There was no posters left, the little mini posters. All they had was the popcorn buckets, which you can see Kong holding up the Beast Glove. I guess that's imitating the Beast Glove. And Godzilla. And of course, the Scar King cup, which from carrying this from the movie theater, because I hurried up and had my kid take this stuff out to the car. So this pops off, the figure pops off, the little holder inside pops off. So it's already, a little behind the thing. Now you got the Godzilla x Kong Monarch, and then a picture of Scar King. Let's try to get that to where, oh, and the inside is red. That's kind of cool. Let's have Scar King posted out there. And thank you to Justin from Calling All Kaiju. He hooked me up with this Suko. So this is awesome. I already renamed him Justin, just for you. And the glasses, the real 3D. We'll get to that too, all right? Now, let's get straight into it. I think at the end we'll address whether it's worth going to see the 3D or not at all. Now, I think, I took all my kids, except the baby, obviously. You shouldn't bring a baby to the movie theater. You're not trying to disrupt everybody's time there, which some people don't care about, and they do regardless. Now, Godzilla x Kong, they gave us some fan service. But most, to me, well, let's really take this with the positives first, and then we'll hit the negatives. The positives of the movie, right? You got to see another awesome team up from Godzilla and Kong, right? Anytime you see that awesome team up, I think it's pretty good. Now, I do hope, I pray to God that this is the last time. I don't want to see another Godzilla Kong movie. I want them to stay in their lanes now. We got to see 2 movies back to back. Awesome. Thank you. No more. It's over. That aspect of the stuff, please, Legendary, Warner Brothers, don't do it again. Now, we got to see Hollow Earth, mostly taking place in the Hollow Earth. Awesome. The more Hollow Earth, the better. Now, it's where I sort of wished the Kong animated series took place. I think that would have been stellar. Now, we got to see... Now, this is... Before we continue anymore, I want to reiterate, if I haven't, from the title of this video. This is a spoiler review. So we're going to talk about all that. If you don't like it, please click off. I don't want to ruin your experience with this. Now, we got to see Kong being chased by a pack of dogs. And he's smart. He's showing more smart tendencies as each movie progresses. He's using traps, setting up decoys. He's becoming more humanistic in his behaviors. I think that's a cool little feature that shouldn't be, underlooked. You know, we've seen a little bit of that in the 60s with Godzilla versus King Kong. But now it's more high tech. He's setting pitfall traps. He's setting logs that swing. He's just setting a lot of traps that's, very cool to show his intelligence. Now, he gets in a fight with some Scar King minions that were enslaved, some other Kong species. And you got this little baby orangutan. Now, which was awesome, right? He turned Zuko into the Kong species beater 3000, right? Picked him up by the leg, smacking him on the back, face, chucking him. He used him as a battering axe. It was awesome. It was just one big club he was using Zuko as. It was just amazing. Bah, 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 bah. Amazing. I did like that aspect of the movie a lot. Now, while Kong is discovering this secret part of the Hollow Earth, we have Godzilla on the land surface, right? And he is going after Scalia at the beginning of the movie, the very first part of his interaction, right? Now, I don't know if they just figured we don't want to do anything with this Titan, and they said, let's just end him, right? Godzilla ends him in a burst, in an explosion of blood and guts, right? Insect blood and guts, or crustacean blood and guts. So, Scalia, R.I.P. Scalia, you will never be forgotten. Now, I do want to address something with Legendary. It seems like every time we see the Big G, he can never just have a awesome walk-in appearance or just a cool little appearance like that. It seems like they only know how to bring Godzilla in from Monarch, coming up from the dirt, busting through the ice, the water. He's always busting through something, right? I mean, it's cool that he can do that, but let's try to be original and come up with some other ways to introduce Godzilla to come through into something, right? He doesn't need to bust into everything. A cool menacing walk like we had with when he went to fight King Ghidorah at Boston Stadium, right? Fenway Park. That was cool. I think his presence, he's Godzilla. He doesn't really need dramatic presence, right? His grimacing appearance, stare, growl, roar is good enough. Now, Godzilla takes on Tiamat, which is awesome. We get some interaction with the comic series. Now, for him to do that, he does it to get Tiamat's cave to absorb the power and to evolve himself into the pink-colored Godzilla. Now, that's another problem I have sort of with this, right? They said at the beginning of the movie, right? Titans, the monsters were there to protect nature. The apes were there to help protect the humans, right? Now, I don't quite understand why they sent Godzilla just to kill another monster to absorb his power. To me, that's kind of a little contradictory of how they've been treating Godzilla throughout these movies. You bow to Godzilla, you're good, right? But I guess I don't know, to be honest with you. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just, little bit of contradictory there. And it just sort of made him seem like an asshole right there. Now, we seen back in the Hollow Earth, you know, the little girl, the deaf girl, I forget her name, sorry about that. She finds her and her adopted mother find other tribe people from her tribe from Kong Island. Now, we had a discussion in our little group chat that Skull Island, before this movie, way before this movie, was actually, this was 80s Baby, so credit to 80s Baby. Tony, he thought Skull Island was a part of the Hollow Earth and it somehow got transported through one of those portals, and that's why the storms and all that. Now that would make it makes a lot more sense too, and it brings everything together because her tribe from that Skull Island was also there in the Hollow Earth, right? So she is the one that's going to bring Mothra to life. She's gonna hatch Mothra. She's the chosen one, right? They wrote down the paintings of what happened throughout time. Now, Godzilla took on Scar King and his minions, and Scar King, he wanted to go to the surface. Godzilla stopped him, but it almost took his life to do that, which we'll touch on later. Now, Kong gets in Scar King's pit and he sees his people being treated like slaves, working in a gravel pit pretty much. And from what I am taking it, Zuko's mom or father, we don't know, try to protect him from getting beat from Scar King, and he does like a back kick and knocks him or her into the lava pit and kills him. So Kong ends up fighting Scar King. And Scar King is just doing all this parkour, dodging all of Kong's brutal hits. He is making Kong look like a punk. He's doing an awesome job kicking his rear end. And then he slices him with his Warbat whip that has the end of Shimu's crystal on it, and slices his hand up. And then he gives the orders to stop the lava flow. There's a cave that's probably housing it, which would make sense. Even Shimu probably couldn't stop all that lava with his ice breath. Shimu comes out. Now he sees them light up, which Kong uses his brain once again. He's thinking, oh, Godzilla does this, let's block it with the Godzilla axe. And it blocks it, but it also freezes his hand while he's blocking it, and it frostbites him. His hand's done. So Monarch puts a beast glove on him. That's how he gets the beast glove. Gives him like a Ajax from Mortal Kombat little power up, right? Jax power up with the mechanical hand. Now, we do see Kong doing some Mortal Kombat finishers. Now I'm going to jump here and there. I'll try not to say the brutality, right? The finisher. But he does do a fatality, right? He rips the dog when he's being chased right in half. That was his first fatality. Now the brutality comes at the latter end of this movie. Well, Godzilla gets a power up. The little girl unlocks Mothra. I'll speed this up a little bit. You don't want to be here forever. And Kong team up together to take on an enslaved Shimu, Scar King, and some of Scar King's peasants. Now, Zuko is pretty much throwing rocks to knock these, they're in a gravitational pull, knock these minions of Scar King, I guess you'd call them, and pretty much kills them off. Now, Scar King and Shimu are teaming up. He's controlling Shimu with this crystal, which was never explained at all. A bad part. And they sort of take it to Godzilla and Kong. Kong's holding his own against Scar King now that he's got the Beast Glove. Godzilla's actually taking it to Shimu. It seems back and forth. Shimu's double the size of Godzilla. So he's a big boy, the first Titan. Now, the crystal gets broken by Suko. Suko takes the Godzilla axe and shatters it. Now, Shimu freezes the Scar King because he's using him out of pain. The crystal caused him pain. And this is where Kong does his fatality once again. He does a brutality and just shatters him into 1,000 pieces. That's the end of Scar King. No more. Now, that turns out to pretty much be the end. There is no credit scene after. We don't get no cave paintings, nothing. That is it. We just get a moth or a little roar. And I got to say, shout out to Jeremy Souls of the X Plus Facebook group. Seeing his name on the credits, congratulations. He's a big help in the X Plus community. Now, is this movie worth watching in 3D? I think if you can avoid paying the extra price for the 3D, do it. It's not worth it at all. I don't think it gave anything extra, in my personal opinion. I could have done without. I don't think it was like Avatar where it was meant hand for that. I could have definitely gone without it. Now, the pros of this movie. I did like the Godzilla transformation. The purple or the pink was pretty slick. Kong, his brilliance was awesome. Suko was awesome. We got to see Titanus Doug steal a piece of meat of one of those dogs. Scar King. Wow, did I like him. Yeah, he did come off like, the Jungle Book. Yeah, he was up there in the throne. But after that, the way he moved with that parkour, awesome. Turned out to be an awesome villain. Now the negatives. And there's a lot, right? It seemed more like a Kong movie than a Godzilla collaboration. They should have just made this a straight up Kong movie. Took out Shimu, took out Godzilla, just Kong. I hope to God they don't do another one of Godzilla team up with Kong. Do your own things. Godzilla was an afterthought. Like I said, it took Godzilla all his power to take on Scar King and his minions. But he's just taken on. We already know Godzilla beat the crap out of Kong in the last movie. Granted, Kong's grown up, but Godzilla got a power up. Now, Kong beat the crap out of Scar King at the end. Now, you could say because of the Beast Glove, who knows? It's not really making much sense. They're just throwing things out there. It's not logically making any sense to me. Now, you got Shimo, who's the first Titan, who allegedly, it's not for sure, but it's been going around, he froze King Ghidorah. If he's that strong to take out Ghidorah, and Godzilla is taking it to him and you got to remember, he's probably double the size of Godzilla, maybe even 3 times the size of Godzilla. He's a big boy. Kong was riding him back to his people, and he looked like a small thing on back of Shimo. This was a big, legendary, you dropped the ball here, bud. You really did. This has got to be by far the worst MonsterVerse movie, right? It's above Kong animated series, but it's at the bottom of the pack. You guys dropped the ball pretty bad. Hang on. I'm going to try to turn the light on. It's getting dark, so there we go. It's starting to really set it. The sun's gone. Now, Legendary dropped the ball with this movie. A lot of things didn't make sense. It seemed more like a Kong movie than a Godzilla and Kong movie. There is some positives. I don't want this to seem like a... Suko was awesome. Loved him. He was awesome. Where he picked him up and beat him. Once again, Kong movie. Scar King could have been as a Kong movie. He was awesome. The whip was awesome. Shimu, awesome design. I liked it. Didn't seem that very impactful for being the first Titan. The guy that took out King Ghidorah, like I said. So I'm going to give this movie honestly, a 5.5, maybe a 6 out of 10. You know, if you're a Godzilla fan, do I say see it? Yes, for sure. Did Legendary drop the ball on this? Yes, this is the worst one yet. You know, before I thought 2014 was the worst MonsterVerse movie out of all of them, and that's not a knock on 2014. But this is at the bottom of the barrel, right? They could have done a lot better. You're coming off the heels of -1, and this is what you're going to give us? It's a big difference. So, but I still recommend you guys to go witness it yourself, experience it yourself. Your experiences might differ from mine. Your views might differ from mine. But to me, yeah, 5.5 to 6. Well, let's just give it a solid 6. 6 out of 10. Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire. Should just be Kong, the New Empire. Probably would have been a better movie and made more sense overall. And there we have it. Gfan 84. See you on the next one.